Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and this is going to be fun. Here's a new plugin that I like to call NonlinearSpace. Now, this sort of replaces the previous reverb plugin that I had called Space. It's done two things. One is all of the internal processing is now 80-bit, meaning that it's got more sonic depth. It's using the purest series of modifications that I've done. That it's got the 80-bit internal calculations and it noise shapes to 32-bit and so on and so forth. But the other part of it is that it has this new control called nonlin. I'm going to show you what that does, and it does some pretty crazy things, let me tell you. Now, nonlin is something that's famous for, I think, the AMS reverbs. Some of the 80s reverbs had a special setting called nonlin, and it did a kind of gated, roomy sort of sound. Like I can do a little quick demonstration of that using the techniques for nonlin. I think I can even, well, no, I think that's the minimum liveness that we get. Now, that doesn't sound exactly like the classic 80s nonlin because it's not supposed to. This is an airwindows plugin. It's part of the purest series of the 80-bit plugins, and these are not modeling any particular gear out there. They are their own things. Here's some of the stuff that Airwindows NonlinearSpace can do. First, we'll put the nonlin back, and we'll show you the rough idea of what this sounds like. We turn liveness up. We can get lots and lots of reverb again. We can cut the bass out of the reverb. And this is in the feedback loop, so this helps it get its sound. Or we can cut the treble. Quite a lot, in fact. Or you can cut both. We've got these settings in here. This is designed to sound like this, but you can also set it at these other frequency rates. They're supposed to give pretty much the same sound that you're getting here, but they'll also act like making larger or smaller rooms. You can get glitchy kinds of effects out of them as well. For instance, if you change the sample rate without bypassing it, it won't reset the buffers, so don't get misled by changing it and having it set up like this. Now this is a smaller setup, so it's a much smaller room sound. And then we can even do pretty much a closet sound here, rather obnoxious. Or any combination. This is how you basically reset the size. It's changing the actual sample buffers. This isn't just changing the liveness. But I know what you'd really like to do is hear more about the nonlin. And we can do a lot of things with that. For instance, we can have it all on the highs here. Now I've turned it up so much that it's going to really hang on, so what we'll do is we'll pull it back some. It's going to react to the level of the signal going in, So you got to tune it in to get the relevant sound. Now this is a very sustained kind of sound, so we might want to go over to a simple drum sound. Now there's a certain amount of sustain on these, but you're still getting the basic idea of the non-lin style sound. We can also bring the bass in. And you can really hear what the non-lin does. Now we can also go to a tighter sample rate. This is the kind of thing that people are used to hearing out of the nonlinear program, but this is perhaps more adaptable than exact models of a specific 80s thing. But it is most definitely non-lin happening. Can pull it back more. And what we're getting is a real drum set effect here. I'll skip ahead to some of the snare stuff. It's just live. Now this, again, this is your drum style nonlinearity. But there's more than that. If you noticed, there's a little thing called negative non-lin. I bet you're wondering what the heck that could possibly do. We'll show you. Now that's not very interesting, but if you turn a lot of liveness on, it's still maybe not very interesting. Until we shut it off. What negative nonlinearity does is it will only cut back liveness if the sound is quiet. It will only cut back liveness if the sound is loud. It's the opposite of what non-lin normally is on a reverb. So what we get is a kind of a built-in sustainer, but it will replace the reverb with what's currently going on. We're listening to full wet. This is monitoring through the reverb. But if we duck it out, you might just find uses for this somewhere. Airwindows NonlinearSpace doesn't just do gated reverbs, as well as other kinds of reverbs. I mean, it was already out there being sold as a kind of classic lexicon style reverb, and by that I mean the liveness in the treble and the bass controls and stuff, not that it was specifically modeling anything. But this new feature has something else going on for it, in that you can sneak in, you know, like ambient style stuff. This might be right up your alley. You might want to compress it. It's just not exactly loud. Or indeed, we could throw in my voice. Maybe pull that back because it's so loud. And that might prove useful to somebody too. This could be all kinds of fun. Here, let me turn it down. Or how about I smashed the buffers there. airwindows NonlinearSpace is a $50 plugin. That's $50 for all this. It's very interesting and can do many things. It is an audio unit, so it should be used with Logic or Live or Reaper or any number of other things like that. I'm having too much fun. I better stop this. Okay. Now, back to normalcy. airwindows NonlinearSpace is a $50 plugin. It is an audio unit. It is 80-bit internally and dithers to there noise shapes to the 32-point core audio bus. It does all the things I was just showing you and is all kinds of fun. And I hope you like it half as much as I like it, because if you like it half as much as I like it, it will do quite nicely out there. Thank you very much.